Now I'm going to show you how to install Calibri to your system. Calibri is located here in physical verification. There is a Calibri web page, and you can go to software acquire. And okay, if you take a look at Calibri website, you may see that the newest version is 2024.4 under 9.12.9. There are two different versions of Calibri. One of them is called AOJ. You see AOJ here. And one of them is called AOI here. If you download the AOI version, you need to configure AOI variable. And if you download the AOJ version, you need to configure AOJ variable. I will explain this later. So you can see our installation process is basically the same. And this will take some time. So I will leave the control to you. You may follow my procedure here. Okay? Then later, the third step is configure environment, right? And the for tester. So you can see my installation process has SOP. If you follow my SOP, installing EDA server will be very, very easy. Because it will take us a lot of time, so I will leave the control to you for you to finish this step. Okay? There are different Calibri versions released by Siemens. You can see we have downloaded AOJ from the website, right? And you don't know what AOJ is. So you can go to Calibri roadmap. There are AOI, AOJ, AOK, SOA. Okay, there are different versions. That means, for example, we are downloading AOJ version, so it supports later Red Hat 6.8 plus. Okay, or it supports SUSE Linux, not Slackware, SUSE. But this version will be discontinued in 2024.3. Then it is now 2025. Their OS version will proceed to Red Hat 7.9 or Red Hat 9. You may ask me one question. Why didn't I ask you to install RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux? Because if you install Red Hat Enterprise Linux and you don't pay money for Red Hat, you cannot upgrade your software. You cannot run security update. Then your system might be easier to hack. So that's why I don't tell you to use Red Hat. Before Red Hat 7, normally students they will use CentOS 6, CentOS 7. However, Red Hat decided to discontinue the development of CentOS. So you can have this choice, Rocky Linux. You can still download Rocky Linux to install the system. But like I said, I prefer Debian. So I will tell you how to use Debian to install all the environment. I use Debian in different machines, including this machine, my laptop. This is my laptop. My laptop is also using Debian Linux. Okay, I use Debian Linux only. So you may refer what is AOI, AOJ, AOK, and maybe there will be IJKL. Maybe there will be AOL in the future. I don't know. If you want to know what this is, you can go to Calibri website to see their differences. Okay. So I already finished the extract and the install procedure, and I needed to tell you one thing. If you go to OPT directory and you type du-sh EDA, you can see we already use 82 GB of hard disk space. In the beginning, I tell you to install your system. I tell you to keep this as big as possible, right? 700 GB. You can see we already installed 82 GB. And maybe if you take a look here, I didn't have a separate partition for OPT. My OPT is in this partition, so maybe I will suffer space not enough problem. I will show you later if we encounter this problem, what you should do. Okay, now we need to configure the environment. I will create this in a very fast way. So we can go to OPT, EDA, VI base CRC, EDA, and you can create a path here. You can create a path here. You can create a path here, and so this is your path. Then you need to create a mental setup. Mental setup variable. And our license server is LSTN. The port is 1717. So you need to export 1717. 1717 at LSTN. Okay. So this is our environment setting. Then okay. Source OPT EDA base CRC EDA Calibre -GUI. Okay, it shows you that embedded operating system environment, right? Because it didn't recognize this environment. So what should we do? It didn't recognize your operating system. Okay, I will stop here because this is the configure. This is the configuring part. So you can, if you test source OPT EDA base RC EDA and Calibre -GUI, then you will see embedded operating system. Okay, I will stop here. Then later I will explain how to solve this problem.